what's up guys? I finally got a day off work, and that means I finally have time today to replace the front brake pads on my wife's Mazda CX-5. Earlier this year I did the rear brake pads. It was a relatively easy job. That was a little over 60,000 miles. Now we have 68,000 miles, about to bring this in for state inspection, and the front pads are looking a little low, so I'm going to go ahead and change them today. I am not a professional, but I have changed brake pads on a few different cars now. So in this video, I'm going to go step by step into how to replace the front brake pads on the 2017 to 2025 Mazda CX-5. And I think this job will be about 2.5 out of 5 on the 4Noob scale. That means I think with this guidance, you will be able to do this job without any previous experience. But I probably wouldn't have my mom doing this. And I am going to be doing just the pads and not the rotors. Here's a look at my rotors at 68,000 miles. I think they look fine, and it should be good to replace just the pads. And my mechanic also just recommended replacing the pads. But, you know, a lot of people do pads and rotors. I don't think that's much harder. If you disagree, you know, leave a comment. You can let me know. But this tutorial will be just doing the front brake pads. Alright, so let's go over the parts and tools we're going to need, starting with the essentials. We're going to need the brake pads, of course, and these, I've got the Robestos Element 3. We use these on the rear. They've been good for the past year or so. Here's the model number, and link to this will be in the description below. This comes with the pads and new hardware. Next, we're going to need a socket wrench with a 14mm socket to remove the caliper. And we're also going to need a 21mm socket to remove the wheel. Optional is a breaker bar. That's going to make it easier to remove the wheel. But I am able to remove the wheel with just this length socket wrench as well. Next is a jack and jack stands, and you don't have to get under the car, so in theory you could just use the jack that's provided with the car and jack from right there. But I do highly recommend jack, and we're going to jack up from the front of the car and then put this jack stand over there. And also highly recommended is some tool to compress the brake pad. I'll show you how we need to use this in the video. This is the tool I'm going to be using. There are other tools, and there are also ways you can do it without a specialized tool, but you'll have to look that up. I do highly recommend this. I used this on the rear, and it worked very easily on the CX-5, so link to this one will be in the description below as well. Finally, I have this brake lubricant, recommended, but I don't think it's fully necessary if you don't have any. And some paper towels or shop towels and gloves are always nice to have. Now, a few more optional things. A flathead screwdriver can be good for removing the brake pads and the hardware. Brake parts cleaner is very helpful for cleaning up the buildup on and around the calipers. And a torque wrench is helpful for torquing the caliper bolts and the lug nuts. All right, next I'm going to go over my strategy to jack up the car and remove the wheels. There are some alternatives, but I'll just show you what I recommend. I've done this several times when I'm doing oil changes. But since we're going to be working on the brakes, the first thing I'm going to do before jacking up the car is loosen the lug nuts on both sides, because I'm going to be jacking up the front. And the other thing we're going to do is pull our parking brake. That's going to lock the rear wheels because we're going to have the front wheels in the air. So it's going to be a 21mm socket to loosen these bolts. And I'm just going to loosen them and not remove them. So next we're going to need to find the jack point for the front of the car, and this is the recommended jack point in the shop manual, so I will include a diagram of that below, but it's hard to see from the front. But I'm going to need to slide my jack way under there, right about where the middle of the license plate is. So here's the best view I can get from the side, and the jack point you're going to want is right there behind that metal bolt you see. there's a dark black area. That is a solid metal piece, and you're going to want your jack right on that. If you go too far this way, you're going to miss that metal part and you're going to be on the plastic cover, so you're not going to want that. And what I did is basically I pushed the jack in, then I came to the side to see if I'm in the right spot, and then I went back to the front, kind of adjusted a little bit more till I got in the spot that I need. Now I'm going to go ahead and jack up the car further. All right, there we go. And since we don't need to get under the front of the car, we don't really need to go up too high. We're just going to want to make sure we've got both front wheels off the ground and that we've got enough height to get our jack stand under the jack point. And our jack point on the side is going to be right here on this little frame rail thingy at this mark. Now I'm going to slowly lower the jack just a little bit to make sure the car is sitting on these jack stands. But I'm going to leave the jack in that central position as a backup. And to make sure that the weight's on the jack stands, we're going to check that they're tight. Now we're going to go ahead and finish loosening the lug nuts and taking off the wheel. All right, now we're on the other side. I finished up the driver's side so I can figure it out and give you guys some tips and do it smoother here on the passenger side. So the 2 bolts we're going to need to remove to lift this caliper out are 14 millimeter, this one and this one. So not these bigger 17 millimeter ones. I'll probably just remove 2, but you might be able to just remove the bottom one and swing this up to replace the brake pads. And we're going to go this way to loosen. And don't be worried when the bolts come off, this isn't going to drop or anything. So I'm going to pull this out, not the bracket, just this caliper. And you want to be careful, this is a little heavy, not to let it hang by this brake line. But since we're only doing the pads and not the rotors, I should just be able to rest it here on top of the rotor. And you can see that the brake line here is not kinked or under any pressure. All right, a good tip here is take a picture of what this all looks like beforehand so you know how to put the new pads, and this new hardware is going to be a key. There's a few things to look for that I'll show you guys now. So to remove the pads, they should come out easy just by pulling on them like this, but you can use a flathead screwdriver in there if you're having any trouble. That's the inside one, and here's the outside one. Now let's take a quick look at the life on our brake pads. So actually there's a decent amount of pad depth left. When I checked, I thought it was a little lower, but you know, like I was saying, better to replace earlier than later. But as I'm looking at this, I don't know what you guys think. I'm thinking maybe like 10,000 more miles on these. Of course, it's not perfectly even. I think this one, the outside, is a little lower, like right there. You know, this inside one almost looks like half the life still left. All right, so we have new brake hardware that looks like this, and that's going to replace these 2 pieces here. So I'm going to remove these, and here I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver to help just pry that up from the outside and the inside. A key thing we're going to note here is this front, top, and bottom hardware is not the same. So here's the bottom one, and you can see it has a longer tab here, and you can see that these look the same. These actually aren't totally identical. For the rears, these Raybestos Element 3 looked absolutely identical. These, there's a slight difference right there. So this is going to be the one that's going to go here. Although I am going to clean this off. I'll show you guys that in a sec. And just to confirm, this one is clearly the top. It's missing that tab, that longer tab that comes down. All right, next we're going to do some cleaning and lubing. So I've got brake parts cleaner, and I'm going to clean just the key areas on this caliper bracket. The outside and the inside, here and here, are going to be the key places that I'm cleaning. And if you don't have brake parts cleaner, you can just use water. All right, next we're going to apply some lubricant. And I do think this is probably optional in my opinion, but I'll show you the key places I'm going to lubricate. And that is right here where the hardware touches. So I'm going to just go ahead and lubricate both the hardware and the bracket. And the inside as well. And I will use a paper towel just to wipe a little bit of the excess off and spread it out evenly. Okay, another place to lubricate is these bolts. And now let's put the hardware back. So this should snap into place pretty easily. The bottom and the top. And the last piece of hardware is this little clip. And at least for this Raybestos Element 3, it did not come attached to the new brake pad, but you can see on the old brake pad, it is right there. The purpose of this is just the wear indicator. I think when your pads start wearing out, this is going to make contact with your rotor and start squeaking. And we're going to need to attach it. From what I can tell, these pads are totally symmetrical, both the old ones and the new ones. So I don't think it matters which one you put this on, but important thing, the indicator is on the inside. So this will be my inside brake pad, and I can use the old one as a guide, and this is just going to squeeze on right there, just like that. Now we should be ready to put everything back together. So our new pads are just going to slide in, and just thought might as well lube the top here as well. There's our outside. Now the inside's usually a little harder just because of the angle. Here's a close-up of the technique to put the pad in if you need it, although this is definitely easier, a lot easier than the rears. So I'm going to place the bottom in, and I'm going to press it more towards the front first, and you can see as I rotate it that this back side kind of pushes up. That's kind of holding it in place. And then when I go to the top, I'm going to make sure that the bottom's tight in there, and then I'm going to slide it in and push a little bit towards the rear of the car to compress this back part of the clip back. Alright, that went on very easily. Here's what we look like outside and inside. So The last thing we're gonna have to do is reattach our caliper on, but you can see that it's not gonna fit on because this right here needs to be pushed in because our old brake pads were thinner, our new ones are thicker. This should be pretty easy with our tool. So here's our tool, and you can get an idea how this works. Basically, we can just slip this in, and then we can turn this, and that's gonna put pressure to push this back. But you can see the caliper is pretty big, and this piece is pretty small. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just position our old brake pad in here, and we're gonna push the old brake pad. Tighten it. Now the pad's completely touching, and now the resistance is tight. So I'll slide the tool out. And now, if we did this right, this should slide right over the new brake pad. So just right there, we have to be careful to line it up. And this compresses in, so you can manipulate it a little bit to get yourself in the right position. And now our bottom. And the torque on these, I believe, is 29 foot-pounds. If you have a torque wrench, that's the torque. But if you don't, 29 foot-pounds, I would say with a handle this long would be about getting it hand tight, like kind of with one hand. I wouldn't say, for me, putting a lot of force on it. I do have a torque wrench. I do have enough room here to use it, so I'm going to check that torque. So I just put the wheel back on, nothing in particular to note. Just hand tight the lug nuts. Then I'm going to jack up the car a little bit, slide out the jack stands, and then lower the car off the jacks. And very important, once you've lowered the car off the jack stands, make sure you tighten your lug nuts. I believe it's 95 foot-pounds. So that's it for this video. After doing this job, I will say overall this was easier than the rear pads. The top mount pads in the rear were more difficult to slide into the bracket, and you also don't need to deal with the electronic parking brake in the front. So if you're thinking about doing this as your first brake job, I'd recommend starting with the fronts. That's it for this video. Hope it helped you. If it did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.